With the right map and a trusty ship, you could find lost pirate treasure. But some maps don't lead us anywhere, they just show us things. Interesting things. Here are some maps that might change the way you see the world. This map shows what each country leads the world in. Some of these are more expected than others. Japan has robots, Indonesia has volcanoes, and America has getting killed by lawnmowers. 3 well-known stereotypes. But then the UK has fascist movements, which isn't great. Surely there must be something else we lead the world in. It can't just be fascism. Ireland got quality of life. France got tourism. Libya got heat. What does that even mean? How can you lead the world in heat? Niger got making babies, and some countries just didn't get anything. Does Belarus not lead the world in anything? That's just rude. This map shows the most valuable brand in each country. Now, some countries are debatable depending on how you value a company. So for example, America has Amazon, but some believe Apple is worth more. The top spot tends to fluctuate between them and Google. But with some countries, one brand has dominated the top spot for years. For Finland, it's Nokia, which people always assume is Japanese. But no, its name comes from a Finnish town called Nokia. At its peak in 2000, 70% of the Helsinki Stock Exchange capital came from Nokia. It's just a huge brand in a relatively small economy. India has Tata, a massive corporation with business in all sorts of industries, from steel and mining to coffee and cars. Its revenue last year was over $100 billion. Denmark always has Lego, Korea always has Samsung. The UK, Netherlands and Norway all have oil companies. This map shows what side of the road each country drives on. Those in orange drive on the left. You'll notice that, by and large, it's only former British colonies that do. This is why people blame us for everything. I'm not sure why Japan drives on that side, but it's thought British horse riders would ride on the left-hand side traditionally, leaving their right arm free to draw their sword if met by a highwayman. Similarly, this map shows every country Britain has invaded. It's 90% of them. Most who avoided invasion are landlocked or historically dominated by other empires, like Mongolia or Belarus. Vatican City and Sweden are among them, and for good reason. There's no point in invading Vatican City, and Sweden is a traditional ally of Britain even during the Napoleonic Wars, but its neighbouring kingdom of Denmark-Norway fought with Napoleon. As a reward for Sweden, the kingdom was broken up and Norway forced into a union with Sweden. The union lasted until 1905, which is weird. People kind of forget the whole thing. This map shows America if each state was named after a country as wealthy. So California's economy is about the size of France's, and Texas is Brazil. Just New York State has an economy the size of Canada. Some states, however, don't fare so well. Alaska has Uruguay, Idaho has Uzbekistan, and Montana has Macau, which isn't even a country, just a city in China. This map shows the most popular sport in each country. Green is football, red is cricket, dark blue is American football, light blue is ice hockey. China has ping pong, which is easily one of the least fun sports, so I don't know how that happened. The map shows something interesting about the spread of culture. Cricket is most popular in UAE due to the high number of Indian and Pakistani workers who brought it with them. In fact, almost 40% of the country is now ethnically South Asian. Japan has baseball, a result of the American presence there after World War II. It's the same with Cuba, as it was very close to America before going communist. This map shows the longest flight paths in the world. There isn't much to say about it, it's just interesting to see how far you can fly. The longest flight is from Sydney, Australia to Dallas, Texas, at 8,578 miles, which would suck. This map shows every country's biggest export in terms of value. You'll notice the major European economies tend to have machinery or electronics, but Africa is dominated by natural resources, especially diamonds and gold. As expected, the Middle East is mostly oil. Apart from Jordan, Imagine being a Middle Eastern country but not being oil rich, the one saving grace of a mostly desertous nation. Although Afghanistan has opium, so maybe growing drugs is something the Jordanian government should look into. Argentina has soybeans, which is kind of weird as it's a G20 state. They must be selling ridiculous amounts of soybeans. North Korea has minerals. I wonder who buys North Korean exports. This map shows polling data in each country. People were asked what country is the greatest threat to world peace. So for example, most people in Kenya see Somalia as the greatest threat, but no other country does. People often see their neighbours as the greatest threat, with India and Afghanistan both naming Pakistan and South Korea naming North Korea. America is more named than any other country, but the US, UK and Canada all name Iran, which is interesting. You can tell a lot about people by who they consider their enemy. This is a map of places in Europe to avoid at all costs. It shows where the most people with red hair can be found. As would be expected, Scotland, Ireland and Wales have an extremely high frequency of red-haired people, and so does this random part of Russia. These are places you should only enter if you are a redhead yourself, otherwise doing so would put you at risk of catching it.